Yeah, this Michigan State bunch, I saw some of the game against, it would have been Western Michigan. They think they opened on a Friday night. And even though that widened down to 35-13, that was nothing impressive that they did there. That was a close game, a one-score game into the fourth quarter, but mostly that Washington game. And people focus on what Michael Penix did in that game. And I get it. He tore up their secondary. But what I came away with was how they just got manhandled, bullied both on the offensive and defensive front. And there were only two players on the entire team that I was impressed with, and that was Peyton Thorne, that he just clearly ran away from the defense most of the time and survived getting thrown around the entire day. And he made a lot of plays just, in Fran Tarkington style, Russell Wilson style, and Keon Coleman made some really good plays as a wide receiver. But all the units on the team on both sides of the ball looked horrible against Washington. Thought
And
Minnesota was going to be a good
they have a
game.
UNLV transfer on the defensive line, Jacob Windman, who's stepped ahead of kind of the Cal Holidays of the world. And, but the thing is that you got to look at what their stats are in the non-conference versus what's going on in conference play. And I know it's a little bit clouded because they did play a Power 5 opponent out of conference, but when a lot of their numbers occurred in some of their garbage games. So, what have they done against good opponents? And that answer is not much.
Yeah, 69 yards rushing per game in Big Ten play, to give you an idea. And defensively, it's just as bad. In Big Ten play, they're giving up 200 yards rushing a game. That's losing football against everybody. I mean, you give up 200 yards rushing to Northwestern, you're never going to see the ball. 200 yards rushing to Illinois, when Ohio State right now is feeling its oats running the ball and is like, well, if you're going to try and slow down our passing game, we'll just run it. We're happy doing that. Michigan State pass defense, I don't know that it's good enough to try to we'll just play cover two and hang back and try to force you to dink and dunk. Ohio State running the ball, they're patient enough to be successful with that. But I don't know that Michigan State is good enough to just force underneath stuff because they're really, really bad in the secondary right now.
Minnesota's a pretty good barometer for a physical, decent Big Ten team, and they outrushed Michigan State 240-38, time of possession 42-17, total yards 508 to 240.
Yeah, that's what Minnesota beat them there 34-7. So what do we think Ohio State could do? Maybe like 49-10 again, or I don't know. It could get ugly, but yeah, I don't know. I'm tossing this one back and forth in my head and just trying to figure out, how bad is it possibly going to get. Ohio State just needs to go out and play their game. Their defense is starting to come into its own. However, I think we do have to tap the brakes on crowning them because we have to consider Notre Dame's offense is no good. Toledo's was, but it was a MAC team. Wisconsin's offense is obviously so good that they got the coach fired. And then obviously Rutgers offense is one of the absolute worst in all of college football. So I think you have to kind of just Michigan State's is no good and Iowa's is no good. So they're going to get into the Penn State game with these inflated defensive numbers, and we'll see if Penn State's good enough to exploit some things against this Ohio State defense. But I don't think we'll really know how good this defense is till after they play Penn State, probably.
One other quick note, Michigan allowing 82% completion percentage in Big Ten play this year. So
Michigan is allowing
Michigan State, sorry.
Oh, Michigan State.
Michigan State. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I was going Spencer Petras.
No. Tanner Morgan was 23 of 26, and Talia Tagovailoa was 32 of 41. Yeah. They have yet to intercept a pass this season. So
no, but keep an eye on they force a ton of fumbles, and I think they forced 9 and recovered 7, if I remember off the top of my head. So while they don't have an interception, they do force some turnovers. So ball security will be of utmost concern.